The film begins with suburban housewife Connie, who is arrested in his own house, and as she gives up without a fight, she recalls the beginning of the incident. Connie is a former Olympic racewalker who won 3 gold medals, but this isn't the type of thing that gets you rich or well-known. She currently resides with her husband Rick, an IRS auditor with whom she has a strained relationship. They had to spend a great deal of money on therapies since they were unable to conceive, but tragically, Connie lost the baby when she eventually became pregnant. Rick takes a traveling job, allowing him to be away for 3 weeks monthly. However, he treats Connie poorly at home, reminding her of her joblessness, causing financial loss due to her multiple treatments, and scolding her for spending too much on coupons. The part about Connie being obsessed is true. She accumulates coupons, uses them to make bulk purchases, and stores everything in the nursery to hide the walls and block out her grief. One benefit of Rick's absence is that Connie has had more time to get to know her neighbor Jojo, who runs a money-saving YouTube channel and is also completely fixated on coupons. She is living with her mother Josie and is struggling to obtain employment as a result of recent identity theft. She sells makeup door to door and flirts with mailman Earl in her spare time, neither of which is working well. Connie always gives cashier Greg lots of coupons for her purchases at the grocery store. Connie, a woman who believes in the power of pennies, is upset when she sees baby wallpaper in her grocery store. She decides to eat stale cereal to heal her depression. However, the cereal turns out to be stale, and she sends a complaint email to the cereal company. A few days later, she receives a free cereal coupon with a letter from the company apologizing for the stale product. Greg explains that all companies send free coupons to people who complain, which inspires Connie to send letters to different manufacturers, even if there isn't anything wrong with the products. This leads to a pile of free coupons for Connie, which she shows to her friend Jojo, who is shocked to see such a strategy and even tries to buy a coupon from Connie because it would still be cheaper than the actual price. Her offer lets Connie understand that she could earn 100% profit and run a successful business by selling items she received for free. She finds out via an internet search that the coupons are manufactured in Mexico, not far from her home, so they could go take a lot and resell them. Jojo is initially dubious, but since she is in over her head in debt, she agrees to assist. In Nevada, loss prevention officer Ken discovers a fake coupon at a local market and refuses to honor it, earning insults from the old lady who has been their client for decades. Later, he is asked to switch seats with his daughter on a plane to help her calm down, but Ken refuses, saying it's an important lesson for the kid to learn. Ken arrives at his lonely apartment in Utah and yells at the TV in frustration. Connie and Jojo visit the coupon factory in Mexico and approach Alejandro and Rosa, a couple breaking rules but not looking too dangerous. They are welcomed at Alejandro's house to have a chat, and it turns out Rosa is pregnant and their salaries are a joke. They offer to resell the coupons for them, sharing part of the profits. Alejandro is hesitant, but Rosa convinces him to do it for the sake of their baby. The factory is divided into printing and redemption, and each side usually doesn't know what the other does. They ship extra coupons to Connie and Jojo when their trucks distribute them around the USA, avoiding border problems. The duo creates a website to sell the coupons and promote it on Connie's channel. Their business becomes successful, earning them tons of money, but supermarkets notice. Ken receives complaints about losing money, so he investigates and finds a credit card number behind one of the purchases made with the coupons. After 11 days of work, Ken learns about a website that sells coupons, promoted by a black woman on YouTube. Back in Nevada, the duo finds their PayPal account frozen due to too much money being received too quickly. To prove they're running a legitimate business, they contact Tina, a famous hacker on the dark web. Tina chastises them for openly advertising this because it can all be traced back to them, so she deletes Jojo's videos and says they need a front for their business to clean up their money. They'll be given a slew of phony IDs, bank accounts, and a stash home to work in. They must also wait 6 months before spending their money so that any connections they've made to their actual identity can fade away. After agreeing that Tina will receive 10% for her assistance, she hands them a special encrypted USB stick to preserve their vital information on. Tina's fast thinking ensures that no clues are left on the internet for Ken to pursue. When he goes to the FBI, they tell him they'll look into it, but they find the coupon issue ridiculous and assign the case to Albert, their lowest desk employee. Accepting the case since he had nothing else to do, Albert proceeded. While Ken continues to leave messages for the FBI daily, the coupon fraud takes off once more, using Jojo's cosmetics brand as a front and Tina's fictitious IDs. After 6 months, the couple is prepared to spend their money, but they had to clean it first because Tina mentioned it was unclean. Recalling a tale Rick told about one of his clients, Connie concludes they must purchase a large quantity of pricey items to be resold later, with the proceeds perceived as clean. After convincing all the banks to give them the money in cash because it's to hire people for their cosmetic business, Connie and Jojo go on an incredibly expensive shopping trip. They buy sports cars, boats, a private plane, and even guns. Afterwards, they take a trip to Las Vegas, where they discuss their plans. Jojo will pay for her mother's mortgage, and Connie wants to try fertility treatment again. In the meantime, Ken finally gets the call he has been waiting for from the FBI. Albert tells him that since all cookie tracks have been erased by an expert, he is unable to take action online. However, since the coupons are being sent via traditional mail, he will send someone who can assist. Ken encounters Postal Inspector Simon 2 days later. After acknowledging the issue, Simon requests that Ken purchase several coupons from the website so that they may thoroughly inspect the system. Simon discovers right away that although the envelope appears to be from Kansas when it arrives a few days later, it originates from Arizona because of the unique numbers on the online stamp. Connie, a woman with a fertility problem, visits a fertility clinic with Jojo for support. The doctor informs her that this is her last shot, so she decides to use a donor's seed instead of her husband's. Tina contacts them to find out where all the money has gone, but they mistakenly believe they have cleaned the money. They must sell everything they bought and put it back in the bank in small amounts daily. Rick, who sees Connie's new TV, calls her a new wife, and encourages her to continue using a donor's seed. Ken and Simon investigate cashiers in the area for clients with coupon obsessions. Greg, who doesn't know Connie's name, gives them her description and her 2 pennies motto. They also visit the local post office to find out if any workers know about a coupon blonde. Earl, who has always been watching JoJo's saving tips on YouTube, is the only one they know. Selling their stuff on eBay is becoming too difficult due to the overwhelming amount of it. They run into 2 men from a gun club when they go to a cafe for a drink. They visit the club later and bring all of their guns for sale. JoJo gives a fantastic sales speech, but the leader still won't buy them. To close the deal, the 2 decide to give them a nice discount if they buy them all. Earl is questioned in private by Ken and Simon, but he won't provide them with any information. After being released, Earl leaves a note disguised as regular mail in Jojo's house among the bills Josie takes. Ken and Simon follow him, and they will monitor her outside the house. When Jojo returns home, the men realize she is the black woman the housewife saw on a YouTube video. Jojo celebrates the deal by dancing in her driveway. The next morning, she is distracted by an argument with Josie and ignores the mail. Ken and Simon follow her to the stash house, where they find Connie, the blonde from Greg's description. Simon gathers additional postal inspectors to start the operation properly. With more information at their disposal, they can identify Connie and Jojo with great ease, especially when they show Greg a photo and he verifies it. When Jojo still couldn't sleep later that night, she went to the kitchen to grab a snack after seeing how her mother was doing. When she eventually locates Earl's message telling her to leave town, it's too late for Simon and his men have already arrived and Connie, Jojo, and Josie have been arrested. Earl is shocked to see Jojo's face on television when their houses and the stash house are searched and the arrest is reported. Rick and Josie promptly admit they had nothing to do with anything and agree to assist the authorities when the questioning starts. Jojo attempts to seem innocent by acting as though she has no idea what they are talking about, but they have access to her computer and her recordings. Connie, on the other hand, acknowledges that she committed a crime, but she is horrified to learn that they may be sentenced to 40 years to life for fraud. They'll be kinder to Jojo if Connie admits full responsibility for initiating the whole thing, so she strikes the bargain. Jojo is freed on bond. She believes Josie paid it, but Earl, who is waiting for her outside with roses, really made the payment. Connie, scolded by Rick, refuses bail and asks for a divorce. The investigation continues, tracing coupons to Alejandro and Rosa, but they disappear before they can uncover their true identities. They are no longer wanted by the Mexican authorities since the trail has dried up. It turns out that Connie made the right choice in hiring a very costly attorney, since on the day of the trial, the attorney persuades the jury that Connie and Jojo had just taken advantage of a legal loophole, much like companies do regularly. His strategy works, as Connie receives an 11-month prison sentence with the chance of release, while Jojo receives 10 days in jail plus a year of probation. Simon and Ken are not pleased with the outcome and ask the state attorney for an explanation. The attorney reveals that the court was lenient with the ladies because the companies on the coupons wanted to stay out of the news. The $80 million this swindle cost these megacorporations is pennies in the bank. Simon must leave after a successful case, but he must first show Ken he's a good man and adjust his attitude. As days pass, Ken becomes nicer, making exceptions for old clients and gaining the courage to create a dating profile. Connie gets a divorce and fertility treatment, spending months in prison with a pregnant belly. The authorities take most of the scam's earnings, but Jojo rescues boxes in the nursery. Knowing Connie has hidden cash, After reuniting with Earl, they move to Montenegro to start a new scam under another cosmetics brand, waiting for Connie's release so they can work together again.